Fighting game fans love to say they don't make them like they used to. With Capcom Fighting Collection 2, they don't have to, because Capcom is bringing some of the most iconic and brutally competitive fighting games of the late 90s and early 2000s to modern platforms. At a recent preview event, we got to go hands-on with 3 titles in the collection: Capcom vs. SNK 2, Project Justice, and Street Fighter Alpha 3 Upper. Whether you're a seasoned veteran looking to relive the arcade days or a new player wondering what all the hype is all about, this collection is shaping up to be an authentic, no-frills revival of games that defined an era. There's a reason why Capcom vs. SNK 2 is still talked about in fighting game circles like a sacred text. It's a game that's built for mastery, with 6 different group systems that let players tailor their play style to the mechanics of Street Fighter, King of the Fighters, Samurai Showdown, and more. It's a level of customization that makes every matchup feel dynamic and personal, and it's easy to see why high-level players are still dissecting this game 20 years later. For someone like me who isn't deep into competitive fighting games, Capcom vs. SNK 2 is both fascinating and intimidating. It's a game that rewards patience and precision, and even with the modern training tools like input displays and hitbox viewers, it's clear that the game is meant for people who are willing to put in the time to get good. But don't let that scare you off completely. It's the kind of game, even if you're just mashing buttons, you can still appreciate the fluidity of animations, deep roster, and the satisfying impact of every hit. Online play will be a real test though, but with rollback netcode confirmed, Capcom vs. SNK 2 finally have a proper modern home in Capcom Fighting Collection 2. If Capcom vs. SNK 2 is about technical mastery, Project Justice is about pure, unfiltered anime chaos. As the sequel to rival schools united by fate, it carries forward the over-the-top team-based high school brawls that made the original a cult classic. Unlike most fighting games, Project Justice isn't about the individual characters, it's about teams, with assist attacks, cinematic team-up moves, and ridiculous super specials that feel like something out of a Saturday morning cartoon. It's also surprisingly accessible, which made it the easiest game in the collection for me to just jump in and start having fun. That accessibility, however, doesn't mean that there isn't depth. Movement is fast, combos flow naturally, and there's a rhythm to the combat that feels different from both 2D and 3D fighters. Playing locally was a blast, but the big question mark is how well Project Justice will handle online play. Rollback netcode is great, but how will it handle a game like this with its fast-paced movements and unique mechanics? That remains to be seen. Still, just having Project Justice available again is a massive deal if you've never played it before, and this just might be the most fun and approachable game in the Capcom Fighting Collection 2, and if you have played it, then you already know how good it is. I'll be honest, I'm not a Street Fighter guy, but even I can recognize that Street Fighter Alpha 3 Upper is something special. What makes Alpha 3 stand out is its ISM system, which lets players pick between 3 distinct playstyles. AISM gives players a traditional 3-level super meter. XISM is a high-damage single super option reminiscent of Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. VISM is the most technical, allowing for custom combo creation and deep strategy. This alone makes every match feel unique, even when using the same character. It's a game that demands understanding, and while the new training mode helped, it was clear that Alpha 3 belongs to the die-hard Street Fighter fans who know their frame data and combo routes like the back of their hand. That's not to say it wasn't fun. I actually enjoyed it more than I expected. Their roster is stacked and the combat feels fast and aggressive. While I probably won't sink hours into learning every mechanic, I can absolutely see why hardcore players swear by this version of the game. As with CVS 2, online play will be the deciding factor. If the rollback netcode holds up, Alpha 3 Upper could be the go-to way to play this classic. Playing these games back-to-back made one thing clear: Capcom Fighting Collection 2 is built for the old heads and the hardcore. This isn't a casual pick-up-and-play collection. These are games with high skill ceilings, deep mechanics, and a learning curve that rewards dedication. While the training modes and the CPU settings are more forgiving, these are not games that will hold your hand. If you have a group of friends who love classic Capcom fighters, you're going to have a blast with this collection. Right now, Capcom Fighting Collection 2 is shaping up to be one of the most exciting revivals of the year. Whether it becomes the new home for competitive play or just a nostalgia trip for arcade warriors remains to be seen, but either way, it's bringing the fight back to modern consoles in a big way. Capcom Fighting Collection 2 is set to release on May 16, 2025 for Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, Windows, and Xbox.